Welcome back. Disruptions caused by the Transnet strike could cost the country billions. Workers downing tools after wage talks deadlocked.
Transnet has since declared force majeure, which protects the entity if it's unable to fulfill its contractual obligations to clients because of the strike. So joining us now to touch on the long-term consequences is economics lecturer at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, Sanele Kumete. Mr. Kumete, thank you very much for your time as always, and welcome to the South African Morning. Let's talk a little bit about the impact that this strike is certainly having on perhaps the economic outlook of South Africa, but also the contribution of Transnet in that regard.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the viewers. Good morning to everyone watching this at home. Look, Transnet is a major contributor to our economy. One being they are the major gateway to our trade. And South Africa is an export-led economy. So with the strikes happening at Transnet, it slows down the trade coming into our country, and our ability to export as well. So any delays at Transnet are not desired at this time, as we are still trying to pick up the pieces from the very big pandemic, COVID-19. And the economy has not been doing well. So it's important for Transnet to ensure that this strike is put to stop as soon as possible, which will be important, very much important for the country at large.
Dr. Kumete, I mean, it's obvious that a parastatal will never be allowed to go down. I mean, yes, we've seen with SAA struggling. It's probably been the worst hit parastatal. Eskom is also suffering as well. Transnet itself is not really seeing, it's not all peaches and cream for them. But can they survive this? R1 billion a day is not something that the economy can deal with. It's not something Transnet can deal with. So can Transnet actually survive the strike?
Thanks for the question. Yes, it's not desired, as I mentioned. It's not even good for business for them to experience such. And pretty much, we do not want another parastatal yet relying much more on bailouts and going to the parliament and asking for bailouts. This really is a major consequences for the country if they end up going that way. Look, if you look about it, all businesses have not been doing well, including Transnet in that case. You see the COVID-19 lockdown regulation will mean that the revenue for Transnet has not been at the level that they used to have. I mean, the demand for transported goods has been low in the past 2 years, and we still are trying to pick up. When the economy has not picked up to its full capacity, yes, we do not expect the Transnet will have been picked up because it's moving goods in and out of the country, and our South Africa's import and export sector has already been suffered already in the past 2 years. That shows you that Transnet is moving goods in that direction. And it shows you that Transnet has also been suffering in the past 2 years. I understand that for workers as well, if you look at product prices have been going up in the past 5 years or more, and now the repo rate in South Africa has been increasing by 75 basis points for 2 consecutive times, and we're still expecting a lot more increases. And that tells you that the cost of living for an average worker has grown. And with inflation going above the maximum band, going above 6%, it does fuel the workers trying to get some better increases. I mean, remember when COVID, most companies did not allow for increases. At a certain point, there were a number of people who would take in some cuts and some pay cuts, and also Transnet have offered some of those voluntary packages the number of employees that have left Transnet in the past 2 years. I mean, it hasn't been good for both sides. But now, this is not only an issue that we should see as a Transnet issue as alone, but this is a national issue. Because soon enough, most companies, most organizations will experience the similar strikes as we see happening in Transnet.
Yeah, you know, Sanel, as you're speaking about this, we're reminded that state-owned entities are assets of the state in essential, right? And Transnet, being one of the assets of the state, has been, as you're saying, operating below the original capacity. They've seen a shortage of locomotives. They've had poor maintenance. There's been vandalism, theft of infrastructure, high costs also, and this has been costing miners about billions and billions and billions, potential revenue that is completely lost. And this is a state asset, another state asset which seemingly is in trouble, right? So in this case then, what do we do to preserve the state assets? I think more than anything else, it becomes a tiring conversation to have about the nature of state assets in this country. When you're looking at Transnet, when you're looking at Denel, there are so many institutions that are state-owned that are just not making it. What is the solution? Are you telling me we have to take our state assets and privatize them, which I fundamentally have almost a shock effect when it comes to being able to privatize state-owned assets? But what is the solution?
Yes, it's actually a very important point here. Look, the state-owned entity, Transnet, has not done major investments in its infrastructure. I mean, that's one. Our rail system in South Africa is not been in an acceptable level. Look, we're constantly seeing much competition from trucks taking goods from the ports to inland, whereas we have rail, which is supposed to be functioning. I mean, we are not supposed to see a truck taking container from Port of Durban to sit deep in Gauteng because we have a rail that's supposed to be doing that. But our rail system has been inefficient at all. I mean, on the past over a decade and a half, our rail system has been inefficient, and it's itself. And also, most investments as well, even in the ports investments, our port infrastructure as well, has not been the investment has been coming very slow at a very sluggish pace, and we have not seen that they've not invested enough to maintain the current infrastructure, let alone adding and updating infrastructure to the technologies that really we expect that are much more competitive in the global terms. We could put it that way. Hence, we're seeing as well that. Even our port performance is not doing well. Usually, we used to be number one in Africa. Now we're sliding behind, and we're seeing also shipping lines trying to say, look, I'm no longer going to deliver my cargo in Port of Durban. I'll go to Port of Maputo. For cargo that is destined to go to Gauteng. In South Africa, look, rerouting and going elsewhere. It's already what we've been seeing in the past couple of years, because of our inefficiencies in South Africa's port, in South Africa's rail, in South Africa's pipelines, which is all organized and controlled by Transnet. We've seen these things that have been happening over the past. Yes, it's one of the major reasons why Transnet has not been growing to the desired level over the years. I mean, because if they've been investing in Transnet in their infrastructure over the years, if they've been maintaining and updating all of their infrastructures throughout the country, they would be in a better state financially. But they have not been doing that, so they're missing out on a number of potential revenue, which goes elsewhere. This year alone, if I'm not including the strike, we are calculating that South Africa is losing about 50 billions because of inefficiencies that are happening at Transnet.
Yeah.
Look, if they were really efficient, they would have had means to and financial muscles to overcome such a protest.
Yeah, I think, and the issue that is the recurring sentiment, at least from everybody that is spoken to, and even people at large in this country, is that there's just no willingness from those in power to make sure that everything that is a state asset, is fixed and is in a better state. Excuse the pun there. But Dr. Sanele Kumeta, thank you so much for joining us here on the South African Morning.